Hello, this is Dr. Tyler Hamel, Kingwood chiropractor and nutritionist. Today doing part 3 of my story. Yep, we're on part 3. If you haven't seen the part 1 and part 2, please go back and watch that. And just the idea with these videos is to educate you guys out there and my patients about kind of my journey on healing and repair, on injuries that I've had, and probably why I'm pretty passionate about chiropractic and helping patients. Just because what I've been through, and it's been very tough at times, and I just want to give a lot of folks out there hope. If you have chronic pain, doesn't matter if it's like headaches or back pain or neck pain or disc bulge, sciatica, anything like that. There's plenty that you can do naturally to help get yourself better, and that's what I've done over time. So we talked about last time my disc bulge and disc herniation issues and the pain going down my leg and how it didn't get better for a year. And I think at this point too, it's very important to know that when you're going through the process of healing and repair, getting better, whether you're doing chiropractic, physical therapy, acupuncture, corrective exercises, it's a process and it's pretty tough. So you never want to sugarcoat it and say, oh, all you have to do is, you have sciatica or headaches, all you have to do for a week is this, or for 2 weeks is this, because it could take a lot longer than that. And I think it's important to remember that. So when you're going through the process, that you don't give up. And lots of people give up, right? After 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, things aren't getting better or improving. And obviously that's very frustrating. For me, with my first disc bulge or herniation in my low back, remember, it took me about a year before I started to see improvement. And, and it was very difficult working on patients. I had lots of pain in my back, down my leg. I did think about surgery. If you remember in the last video, I said, well, how can it be any worse than this? So just remember that it's a process and it's a journey, and to stay focused, mentally and physically doing all the exercises, it's pretty tough. And it's okay if you struggle with that, because everybody struggles with that, because it is pretty intense. So my next injury is rotator cuff tears in my shoulders. So I have had, just from playing professional handball, I have tears, rotator cuff, the rotator cuff in each shoulder. And there's a couple different tendons in there, and there's a labrum in there. And I have tears. So in my right shoulder, I have 3 tears in my rotator cuff. In my left shoulder, I have 4 tears, just to even it out. You don't want to neglect one side, I guess, right? So over time, I've dealt with that, and kind of the rule of thumb is if the tears in the rotator cuff are over 50%, so the tendon's torn out over 50%, then there's a opportunity that you might need surgery. There's a possibility that you might need surgery. So I have one at 50% and then a couple at 30%, and both my labrums have tears in them as well. So knock on wood, I've never got surgery, but I've done a lot of rehab on my shoulders. So so tears in both the left and the right hand, so on the left shoulder, and I've had it so bad before where I've kind of re-injured the tear, and trying to work on patients, like I mentioned before, trying to adjust patients, I had a lot of pain, severe pain when I was trying to work on people, but I never missed a day. I kept coming in and seeing patients, and same kind of thing. I was thinking at some point, would it be beneficial to do surgery on my shoulder or my shoulders? Because how can it be any worse? Or structurally, would it make it more stable if I got surgery or not? But I never did. So what I did for both shoulders, I did a PRP shot. So Platelet-Rich Therapy, they call it, where you go in and they take your blood, they took my own blood, they spin it down, and they get the platelets out of there, and then they inject the platelets into the areas of where the tears are. First time I did it, they have a live ultrasound, so they go in there with the needles, put it in here, and again, it was pretty painful. It felt like somebody had punched my shoulder like 100 times, and so it was no fun. But PRP is supposed to stimulate the healing process, so I was all about that, so I got that done. So with shoulder rehab and therapy, just because I've had issues with my shoulders for a long time, I have done plenty of preventative type exercises or strengthening exercises for my shoulders. And when I was rehabbing, I'd be doing these exercises 5, 6, 7 times a day. Every single day I would do it. If I'm at my office, in between patients, I would do it. In the morning, I'd do it at home. At the gym, I would do it. At night, I would do it. So again, it takes a lot of effort to make these improvements. And say even rotator cuff preventative stuff or therapy. I mean, I might just do it for 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It wasn't going to take me 2 hours, but I'd have to do that multiple times a day. And it really has worked. You know, I'm at the point now, and say I still have tears in the rotator cuff, still around 50%, the one that's the worst, and 30% the others. But they're feeling way better. So I could play handball, I can play tennis, I can play golf, and it's, you know, not to say I'm pain free, but functionally I'm pretty good. So again, no surgery, no medicine the whole time. So all I did is PRP, which is a natural thing, right? They take your own blood, spin it down, put it back in you. So it's another natural thing. To this day, at least 3 or 4 times a week, I still do preventative exercises for my rotator cuffs almost every single day, because I know the stuff that I do for chiropractic and working on people, it definitely compromises my shoulders. If I'm playing tennis or golf, that compromises it as well. So I always have to work on that stuff in a preventative way, which I don't mind doing it because I want to keep doing chiropractic and keep playing tennis and golf and all that kind of stuff. So I have to put in the time on these preventative exercises to make sure that my shoulders don't get worse. And you know, hopefully I'm always trying to make them stronger, more stable. That's the idea there. So that was the next part in my journey, kind of the healing journey of rotator cuff. And even probably over the course of 15, 16 years, like I've probably had 3 or 4 MRIs in each shoulder. So it's like there's an injury, it gets better, and then I might re-injure it, right? So it's been a chronic thing that's been around for many, many years. But again, I've never had surgery. I've never given up doing the exercises and the rehab, the corrective exercises for my shoulder. Never, ever, ever. I do that pretty much every single day. And again, I know that it's going to help me. It's kind of like, if you're doing a new diet or changing your diet, you do it every week, every month, every year, because you know how much better you feel when you do it. If you revert back to a poor diet, then you're going to feel pretty crappy. If I stop doing exercises for my shoulder, then it's going to hurt more and more, and eventually I might have to get surgery, right? I don't want to have to get surgery. There's a time and a place for surgery, for sure. If you have rotator cuff tendons that are completely ruptured, you have to get surgery. There's no way around that. But for a lot of us, for a lot of people that have rotator cuff tendonitis or impingement syndrome or tears, a lot of them are below 50% or maybe 30, 20%. So there's so much you can do rehab-wise, natural-wise to get that better, improve function, improve strength without getting surgery or taking medicine. So again, I'm Dr. Tyler Hamel. This is part 3 of the kind of the healing journey, kind of what I've done to overcome my back pain and my shoulder pain. On part 4, we'll go into another low back herniation. Unfortunately, I kind of had an incident at the gym. It was probably the worst back pain that I've ever had and symptoms that I've ever had. Same kind of thing, and I'll explain more, but I looked at an MRI. I talked to an orthopedic doc. I thought it was really bad news, and I might have to get surgery, but it didn't work out that way. So lucky for me. So again, Dr. Tyler Hamel, if you have any questions about anything, chronic pain, chiropractic, physical therapy that you've done, or even acupuncture supplements, rehab exercises, anything like that, or if you have your own story, please share some with folks that are watching this video. That would be great. And like this video, if you learned something, please like it, share it. There's a lot of folks out there that are dealing with chronic pain. Maybe they've tried a lot of things, maybe they haven't, but there's a lot of natural things you can do, non-surgical, non-medicine things you can do to get better. So again, Dr. Tyler Hamel, thank you so much for watching this video, and stay tuned for part 4.